What's up, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute since the last video. I've been a little busy. We just picked up the new RV. It's a 2021 Montana 3791 RD. So we've been out on the road for like, I don't know, about a couple weeks. You know, feeling it out, doing the shakedown. Found a few little things, fixed a few little things. I wish I would have videotaped a lot of it, but trust me, it was a lot of moving parts. We were kind of busy. So we're back home now. And as you all very well know, every time you get one of these new rigs, there's a lot of things that you got to do to it to make it comfortable for you on all your trips. So my channel is just a channel to bring the videos of the places that I travel to my family, friends, and anybody else, I guess, that wants to check out the videos. That's mainly the purpose of it. It is by no means a do-it-yourself video. However, in preparation for hitting the road, you know, in my retirement, I have viewed hundreds of videos of that people put together regarding modifications and updates that they do to their rigs to make them more comfortable. I love them. They're great. They give you great ideas. However, sometimes when I see those videos, I look at them and I say to myself, you know what? Maybe if I would have done it, I would have videotaped this or that because it's missing and I can't. I don't know how to do that, or some of the viewers may prefer to see some of the things that are left out. So I am going to do a modification, or actually not a modification. I'm going to do an upgrade. I'm going to add a washer and dryer, the Splendid washer and dryer to my unit, and I'm going to videotape it and I'm going to bring it to you guys and try and do it step by step as best I can. And I'm going to try and capture all those little things that I've seen in other videos that have been left off. I'm going to try and capture them for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm going to do the best I can, and here we go. We're going to take off. Thank you very much. So basically, here's the area that we're going to be working with today. It's the you know, this unit, this 3791, is already pre-plumbed for washer and dryer, which you kind of see back there in this little area here. But this is basically the way the unit arrives. You know, it's got a the door, the louver door. You know, you open it up, and when you open it up, it has a automatic light inside that turns on just like that. And the extra chairs that come from factory, you know, your kitchen table comes with the 2 chairs. The extra chairs, this is where they put them in. So, you know, we're going to get started. And the idea today is to get rid of these chairs, remove this. I'm not quite sure if this bar up here is going to be in the way right now. So I'm going to leave it for now. But what we're going to work on is taking this off today. Because obviously, oh, I didn't mention it earlier, the unit that we have is the Splendid Stackable. So I think the dimensions are like 24 inches wide by 22.5 inches deep. So we're going to work on that today, and I'll get back to you guys on whether this door is going to have to get removed. I've seen some videos where they've actually had to remove these trims. Honestly, I really didn't want to do that. It's going to freak my wife out if I start removing trims. But I'm prepared to do so, and I'm prepared to put them back. So I'm going to bring it to you guys. Okay, so I've removed the chairs. You know, I didn't videotape that. I said I was going to do all the little things, but, you know, a little common sense. It just unclips. You remove the chairs. Some folks choose to leave the chairs at home. For now, I'm just going to put them here under the bed. They actually fit perfectly the long way. And I'm going to take them with us. You never know when we're going to need all 4 chairs, but that's where we stored them. All right, so the chairs are out. Everything's ready to go. Let's talk about the tools that we're going to need for this project. It's my understanding from other YouTube videos that I've seen, the majority of the items that are connected in these units, they're all done using, I believe, a number 2 square bit. I'm gonna check down that right now and bring it back to you guys and make sure. And a drill to remove them. So that's the items I'm going to use, and we're going to start off right here. See what I'm talking about? They're actually square bits. I'm sure you could use a Phillips. Also, it looks like it's, let me get closer. It looks like it's got notches, so you can use a Phillips. But I'm going to go ahead with what everybody else talks about and use a number two bit, and I'm going to bring that to you guys. All right, so I chose to use a manual screwdriver just to avoid all the drill sounds. But as I mentioned before, it is a number 2. It is a number 2 bit. As you can tell, I'm using minimal force. Screws are coming off with ease. They're pretty long screws. I guess that's an indication of how thick these exterior walls are. When we do the cut out of the hole in a couple days, or not a couple days, a little bit later, we'll be able to tell. So there's your first screw. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process all the way around. Okay. No need to bore you guys with the little intricacies of unscrewing each, but I'm gonna bring you guys footage as soon as they are all off to see how this thing pops off. All right, so all the screws are out. It's pretty easy. Didn't need to record that. But now we're going to see how this thing is going to pop out, or even if it is going to pop out. I don't have enough hands to do this, but let me see how I could do this without dropping this on my head. There we go. All right. So just like that, it popped out. That went kind of smooth. All right, so that's out. Now I'm going to remove the straps like I mentioned before, that clips. Now I can actually work a little better, more comfortably, since I took that out. Wow, pretty big holes they made here when installing this thing. But that's the way it goes. Gotta do it. So I'm gonna go do some measurements and see if that bar is going to have to come out, and I'll let you guys know what I'm working with. All right, the straps are off. I went ahead and did some measurement. In this area here, between this wall and here, we're okay. But obviously our main concern is down here, between here and here. We are literally dealing with a 1/2 inch, and also between the door and this part of the frame, we're also dealing with a 1/2 inch. So obviously I had to take the door apart, which I've already did here. Okay. It's 6 screws I took off from the hinge. So I left the hinge basically attached to the door, and I took off the screws from the actual wall. I didn't want the hinges to get in the way. I mean, pretty easy stuff. Just a few screws and the door came right off. I'm going to do the best I can to avoid taking off this piece of strip right here. I should be able to work with it still on. If it doesn't, if I see that it's way too close, rather than banging it all up and scratching it all up, I'll do the best I can to take it off without damaging it. So that's the door part of it. All right, so done taking everything apart. I'm going to show you guys that in a second, but it's funny, I wanted to touch on something. If you're anything like me, if you're the kind of guy that sees little compartments and little things, and I'm the kind of guy that I like taking them apart just to see how they work, just to see what's behind the panels, just to get a working knowledge and understanding of what you're working with. So I took this one compartment off. Let me show you guys. So if you remember during the previous footage, there was a box here that covered this pipe. I didn't know that that was under there, so yeah, I had like 6 screws. I figured, let me take it apart and see how this works. So that's actually the hot and the cold water line plus the drainage that seeps down, and it actually goes through this area here. If you remove this little piece here, you'll have access to that pipe and the water. So it's inside the cab, it's not necessarily on the chassis area. Why do I mention that? Now, in the event that you have a leak, or in the event that your pipes, your drainage pipe gets clogged, you need to go in there. That's the way to access it. But now, the funny part, when I took this apart, let me show you guys something. So this is that piece, that box that I told you that I took off, that used to be right there. I took it off, like I said, 6 screws, no big deal. But what I actually wanted to show you guys is, and you know, I'm not sure if it's specific to this manufacturer, which is Keystone. I think they make a pretty good product, but I think it's the norm across the industry. Check out what this box is made of. If you ever took shop in school, guys, this is a piece of, I don't know, 1/8, 1/16 balsa wood. That's it. That's what this little case is made of. I'm sure it has a lot to do with weight, trying to keep the weight down, but my goodness. Flimsy, 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 to say the least. That's it. As a matter of fact, as I move this box around, I'm treating it with kids' gloves just to make sure it doesn't fall apart. But just thought I'd show you guys that. Alright, so moving along here. Remember I mentioned earlier about this wall? I did some measurements, and come to find out, if I do not do something with this wall, I will not have access to connecting the exhaust, which obviously is going to go here somewhere in this wall. I won't have access because the washer will be in down here, then I put the dryer in, and I'm either going to need a long tube to connect before I slide it in, whatever. Make a long story short, what I'm going to do is, I did a few measurements. So this area right here is more or less where the dryer connection is going to be. I went online, got myself a little panel just like this, which opens up, and you have access. So after some measurements, I'm going to install this here, and I'll have access to the back of the dryer at any time. I'll be able to actually look back there also if ever I get any leaks or anything. So I'll have access to the back. Should look pretty good, I hope. I'm going to go ahead and cut that open, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright, so this is where we're currently at. Yeah, a little bit of a mess. A little bit of dust everywhere. As you can see, I'm dealing with empty walls, so I'm going to reinforce that a little bit. I'll show you that the cutting was super easy. Obviously, you can tell how thin the wood is. I used my handy dandy thingamajigger. I'll show you how I'm going to reinforce the inside in a minute. So I reinforced the inside with some of this wood. Basically, I'll show you this in a minute. This is going to be my finished product on the inside. But I had to reinforce it so the wall wouldn't move. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the door. All right, so there's the finished product from this side of the coach, the closet side. Now, some would argue that this was unnecessary, an unnecessary step. I wanted it. That way I can avoid all the extra reaching around and long hoses. And this is the inside. So I added a little frame there for stability, since I was dealing with hollow walls. And basically this is the way it works. If you just tap on the back, it opens right up, and I'll have full access to the vent hose, the dryer vent hose. All right, so that takes care of that step. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Okay, so it is the next day. I did just about everything that I could to get this project going. Most of you guys saw I drilled the side, that little cabinet. I cleaned up, as you guys saw. And now comes the second part of this project, which is absolutely a two-man job, which it, encompasses the carrying of the washer and dryer and all that. And more exciting than any of that, exciting if you ask me, scary if you ask my wife, we're going to do the drilling. Whoops. We're going to do the drilling somewhere around this area where we're going to cut into the frame or cut into the body of the RV. So that should be exciting, and we're going to videotape that and bring it to you. All right, so the scary part of this whole project is about to take place. The kit that they send you brings one of these things, and it actually goes on the inside of the wall. We did a bunch of measurements. We went outside. I was trying to avoid encroaching on any of the decals, but right now we're to the point where I think one of the decals is going to bite it. We can't. There's no ways around it. So we're going to give this a shot, and the way we're going to do this is we're going to draw some pilot holes, trying to stay away from beams, and we're going to do the best we can. All right, here we go. All right, so that one's good. That one's good. That one's good. There shouldn't be a beam here because I just drilled here, but just in case. We're safe there. Safe there. Let me make sure that there's not one. Safe. And safe. All right. So those little pilot holes is to make sure that we don't have a beam coming down. Now we're gonna measure this exactly, go outside, remeasure again, measure once, twice, 3 times, and cut once. We're gonna go outside and remeasure this to make sure that we are far enough off the cone that that we won't be encroaching into the trimming or the little trim of the cone. So we're gonna try that, and we're gonna measure outside. So here we go. There's that ringing. Now if I can...
Is it going to come through the wall on the outside so I can go on the outside? Imagine if I glued to the insulation.
Uh-huh. You know what I need to do is let me have that other drill, that one. Now that I have a hole here, I got to give it a new center. All right, let's go outside.
Right.
We'll tape it and we'll drill from the outside. Let's do this. All right, so now we're on the outside of the coach. Remember earlier when I said it was a two-man job? This is Vic, my buddy from work, and he's giving me a hand here today. So we already drilled the pilot hole on the inside, came all the way to the outside. Now we're taping it off to avoid to avoid the outside cap splintering, and we're going to drill ourselves a 4-inch hole here in about a second.
Poke through.
What do you think? Here, let me get that so I can videotape up here. That's the thickness we're dealing with right there. So it's a good sign. Let's move on to the next step. All right, so now I cleaned up around the hole a little bit. Took a little bit of alcohol just to get all the residue, and then I added a bead of 100% waterproof silicone around the edge. And now I'm going to go ahead and insert this and then tie the screws. A little level. A little bit more. There we go. Perfectly level. Now we're going to get the screws that come with the pack. I already put a bead of caulk in each one of the holes so that when these screws get pushed in, that it'll take some of the silicone with it. So here we go. Oh, that was a little too easy. By the way, these are stainless steel screws. Just like that. So this part of the job is done. As you can tell, a bead of caulk pushed out all the way around, which is actually a good thing. With the exception of the cap that goes outside, this part out here is done. But while that silicone is still a little wet, I'm going to go ahead and install it. So we're going to go with just a little small bead of silicone right here. And the last 2 screws on the cap. And then the only work we got left is basically inside. And there you go. Now the final touch will be a nice sharp bead of silicone around the top and the 2 sides. Oops. There you have it. Alright, so now from the inside, that is the finished product. If everything works out correctly, we'll install the hose that goes out. The actual vent on the back of the dryer is right around this area, which I'll have access through this panel. The only problem is that the kit, the hose that they bring, was only like 18 inches long. It doesn't reach across. So there's our first trip today to Home Depot to get that done. And now I'm going to be replacing that piece that I took off from there. That's one.
You're on.
All right, so the next step is we brought the washer and dryer out here. I saw a couple videos where they did mention that the templates are off. We followed the instructions to a T. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, this is a Splendid stackable washer. So we had to buy these brackets separate. Not gonna lie to you, they're not cheap. They're like $60-something. And then the template that comes with it tells you to install this like this. So this is the washer, and all these brackets are going on top of the washer. If you follow the instructions, it tells you to use a 3/32 drill to pre-drill the holes, and then use these screws that come with it to install it. That takes care of that. Now there's 3 extra screws. They're not extra. These are to connect the dryer. Once you have it on top, there's a kick plate on the dryer that you take off. These screws go in, then you replace the kick plate, and that should be it. So now we're going to move on to seeing if we can get this bad boy inside there through these doors. So now, once you finally get the appliance to the general area, the Splendid, I don't know about the other manufacturers, come with these plugs that I'm sure are used to hold the bucket or the tumbler of the washer. This is what they look like. You're supposed to pull them out. That's garbage, throw them away. And then you put these 4 plugs inside those holes, and you're good to go. That's what Vic is doing down there right now. He's removing the last one, and then we'll put this plug in, and then we'll try and get it where it goes. That'll be interesting. Okay, so after much to do, the washer is in. Actually, I gotta admit, that was probably, I believe that's probably gonna be the tougher part. I think the dryer, simply because it's much lighter, should be easier. Everything is plugged in. I went ahead and added some Teflon tape around the fittings, the water hoses, and everything's connected. It's actually powered on, it's working, everything is good. It fit through the door almost, I mean, super tight. Just a hint, it was easier for me and my bud to use these straps. I actually got in the back, straps from the back to the front on both sides. I lifted, he lifted, slid it right in with no problem, then I climbed out. So that was pretty good. Now let's see if we can get this dryer in here, but we got to go get a longer vent. Yeah, so now we're connecting the dryer vent that we had to go pick up. Basically just slides over the piece that they give you from factory, or that comes with the kit, and then you just screw it in. Alright, so there is the dryer installed. It is completely, oh, by the way, underneath this kick plate here, there's the 3 screws from the mounting bracket that's connected to the washer. You screw in the the washer and dryer, and they are connected, so they're not going anywhere. And then the final thing, which was going way back to this vent that I installed, I was able to reach in there, connect my my exhaust, and we're good to go. Now that back there is all dryers plugged in, the hose is connected, it's all strapped in. Now we just go boom, boom, and we're done. We're done. Now we are going to replace the door, and I'm going to try something here, which my buddy gave me a great idea. I'm going to take the strap that factory used to tie down the two extra chairs that came in there, and I may use that and strap it either across the top here or across the middle, just as extra protection, so it doesn't, you know, give it a little bit more support. So for a little bit of added support or safety, I went ahead and added the strap like I mentioned to you guys I was going to do. Worked out great. I just needed an anchor for that wall over there, and it's perfect. I mean, it's a little extra, no big deal. All right, guys, so final recap. We're done. We're done. I can't really tell you how long it took us to do it because it was over a span of 2 days, but everything's been put back. The barn door has been put back. This door has been installed. There is the washer and dryer. I'm not going to say it was a difficult project, but it was tedious. There was a few little odds and ends that had to be taken care of or watched. But that's it. Pretty straightforward. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it's beneficial for those of you out there that are interested in doing this project. I tried to get as many of the small little details included in the video. Again, hope it works, hope it helps you, and peace out. Thanks for watching.